Arsenal are preparing a mega bid for Buendia following a lengthy pursuit of the Norwich star. After a standout season in the Championship, Mikel Arteta has identified Buendia as one of the key playmakers to bring the Gunners back to life. Manchester United still remain heavily interested in the signature of Raphael Varane from Real Madrid. He is seen as the #1 target to bolster Manchester United's defence. Nuno Espirito Santo has agreed to leave after 4 years at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Portuguese manager and the owners of Wolves have come to a mutual agreement to end his tenure at the end of this season. But where will Nuno go? Could he be the next Spurs manager? Reports this afternoon from the Daily Mirror have suggested that Chelsea Football Club are ready to submit an £80 million bid to land Jadon Sancho ahead of Manchester United, who are currently seen as the favourites for the Englishman's signature. And ESPN are reporting today that Chelsea Football Club are willing to offer Tammy, Abraham and Kepa to Tottenham plus cash in exchange for Harry Kane. All of this when it is mooted in the industry that Harry Kane would prefer a move to Manchester City. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Here we go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are all doing well. I hope you're all good, happy, had prosperous weeks. We've got an amazing show for you this evening. Lots of different transfers to give you updates on, multiple tweets, multiple updates throughout the course of today from various journalists and publications. And we always want to gauge your views, your opinions, and open up the phone lines for you to have your say. Around 5:30, we're bringing the panel in Neeks. Sonny's going to be here, and Gal also. We're going to be having a really interesting debate and looking at what we think are going to be the 5 biggest transfers over the course of the 2021 summer. Big show on Sunday, Terry. Final. Yes, of course, Sunday's going to be a big day for us with the final day of the season. We're going to be doing a season review in the evening as well. So lots happening in that space as well. It's actually been quite nice to take a bit of a break from talking about the football and actually focusing on some other areas and some other aspects of the game. But as we said in the intro there, Arsenal's move for Buendia, Nuno Espirito Santo leaving Wolverhampton Wanderers. Could he be the Spurs manager? That's first and foremost. We're going to be taking a little look at the Raphael Varane situation and Jadon Sancho. 2 big blows, according to the mainstream media this afternoon, in terms of Manchester United's pursuit. And Chelsea seemingly look like they're about to put a big money bid plus Tammy Abraham and maybe even Kepa into the offering to try and land Harry Kane. But Kane himself has said today, and I'm going to quote Harry Kane here. This is what he said on players that he would like to play most with. He said, KDB for sure. When I watch De Bruyne play, he is a special player. And some of the balls I see him put in for City are just a striker's dream. That has led many to believe, or to further their belief, that they 110%, they completely and utterly believe that that is where Harry Kane is going to end up this summer. But what's important to remember is no such bid, no attempt from City to speak to the representatives or any types of bids have been discussed or spoken about in any way, shape or form. So far, it's only Manchester United and Chelsea that have tried and made an attempt to land Harry Kane. We're going to start off, though, with the Arsenal news. But before we do that, we're going to share the link on the Discord server for you to all come on and have your say. We want, as I always say on here, your views and your opinions mean a lot more to me than the journalists in a certain way. I love listening to what they've got to say and everything else. But what's really important to know is what you, the fans, are thinking. Raheem here says, what an intro, Terry. Love it. Sancho to Chelsea. Here we go. It's not confirmed. It's not. It isn't confirmed yet. So I think that's very important to remember. However, Chelsea are plotting a very big summer. And we'll kind of get onto that a little bit later. But there's no doubt about it. Chelsea are planning a very big summer. We'll move into that a little bit later. I've just got to share the link actually with some of the panelists that are coming on later. So if the green room is full later and the panelists are trying to get on, I will have to remove some of you just to let you know ahead of time. So we've got a gal coming on, we've got Neeks coming on. We've also got one of the biggest superstars at this. We've got one of the biggest superstars in the Tottenham I've just sending the link out there to Henry White, a Spurs fan that's going to come on for us here. We've also got man like Sonny, one of the biggest rising stars on the Tottenham front, to get involved as. What is this I'm seeing? Sorry, I just got sent a funny meme, but there we go. Let's do some J-Lings fam. I like the banter there, my guy. Thank you very, very much indeed. Terry, can you play that again, Terry? I didn't see it all. I didn't see all of them. Or play the intro again. Yeah, I mean, I can do if you want me to. What I'll do, we'll go for it later. When people ask for recaps, we'll bolster it up and we'll put more of this out there right now. But let's start off. We're going to talk about Arsenal. And actually, I need to put the comment. I need to share the link with you. I'm not going to put it on the Discord server. I'm going to put it into the group chat for you guys to come on and have your say. I want to go through some of these stories. The first one we're going to begin with is the Arsenal move for Buendia. Now, the report I read this morning here says Arsenal are poised to make their first opening bid for Norwich City playmaker and long-term target Buendia. Buendia was on the Gunners' wish list in January transfer market, but Norwich resolved to sell their side during their push for promotion to the Premier League, forced Arsenal to go down other angles. So what they're suggesting here is that actually Buendia has been higher on the pecking order for Arsenal than Odegaard was. They just couldn't get that deal done. Right now, as it stands, Norwich City are looking for a fee of around about 50 to 60 million. That is what they've pushed into Arsenal Football Club and said, that's what we want. However, that's seen as highly unlikely by many of the Arsenal journalists within the know. We're going to be having one on our show next week. Can't reveal who he is going to be yet. We're just finalizing the deal to get him on. But essentially, he has told me that Arsenal believe the deal will be for around £40 million. The opening bid will be slightly less than that, somewhere in the region of around £32 to £35 million. There will be a bit of a bidding war. Arsenal are going to try and get it as cheap as possible. But as it stands right now, it's highly likely that the Norwich playmaker will be an Arsenal player next year. It sounds like the deal is getting closer and closer by the day. And I just think he's a talented man. A lot of the news about Buendia today has kind of been merged into yesterday's all in one, but there is a significant difference. Yesterday, it was Arsenal were considering a bid. Today, the information that came out was much more specific about how long they've been pursuing him. It's been about 18 months now of scouting and monitoring. The fact they tried to sign him in January before Martin Odegaard. A lot of the kind of anti-Arsenal press were very much pushing this as Arsenal can't land Buendia. Sorry, Arsenal can't land Odegaard, so they're going to go for Buendia instead. And that simply isn't the case. So for me, this represents excellent business for Arsenal. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. In relation to Raphael Varane and his supposed move to Manchester United, again, I'm seeing so many, every day I'm getting DMs and messages, what's going on, what do you think's happening? I'm seeing things tweeted everywhere. Leah, I always get Leah's surname wrong because I've got a horrible brain that doesn't remember anything. Very, very credible up-and-coming journalist, Leah Smith, spoke about the fact that Manchester United's chief negotiators have been in contact with Raphael Varane's representatives weekly now for a number of months. Manchester United want to strike a deal up for Raphael Varane. That is something that I think is fairly undeniable. It's fairly undeniable. But he is also the chief target of Raphael Varane. And most people in the industry believe that Chelsea are in front of Manchester United in relation to trying to sign him. United want the deal done for around £40 million. Some expect it to be a lot higher, thus pricing Manchester United out. Man United's biggest problem this summer is finances. Manchester United, as it stands right now, are not that wealthy cash-wise when it comes to buying other players. A fair amount of offloading needs to take place. It simply has to take place for Manchester United to be in a position to buy players above that £40 million mark outside of Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho is the number one target. Manchester United are leading the race for him. The cash is there to do that deal. But other players, Harry Kane, we know that's been mentioned, Declan Rice, Raphael Varane, these signings are going to cost more than 40 million. All but the latter will certainly do that. Man United have got to sell before they buy. They have to raise additional income and they have to save on the salaries of these said individuals. So Raphael Varane, in terms of an update, is there. But the blow for Man United is that Chelsea are leading that race to sign him. So for me as a Man United fan, I'm not getting my hopes up. Will Raphael Varane come to the Premier League? Potentially. Another stumbling block for both Chelsea and Manchester United is a simple fact. The player might end up staying at Real Madrid, depending upon who the new manager is coming in. That's why this deal could take a fair bit of time to get done this summer. We're going to get a few callers on very, very soon to talk about Nuno. I want to know what they're thinking and feeling in relation to that. But we know that he's leaving Wolverhampton Wanderers by mutual consent. A lot of the early word on the ground is that he's not going to be the Tottenham manager. A lot of people are putting 2 and 2 together and getting 16. A lot of early reports I've seen on socials have said that that is not the case. But we as I always say, we will see in relation to that. Jadon Sancho. Now, this deal, this saga, it isn't going to go away until somebody signs him. A report in the Daily Mirror this afternoon, so take that as you will, have suggested that Chelsea are going to test the waters with a bid for Jadon Sancho. And this couples into the Harry Kane news that we're going to bring you a little bit later. They are willing to bid £80 million to try and land Jadon Sancho. It says here, given that Sancho has admitted in the past that he was a Chelsea supporter as a youngster, the notion of him lining up for Thomas Tuchel rather than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer next year shouldn't be discounted. It goes on to say that Manchester United is certainly the front runners in this deal as it stands, but do not look past Chelsea. Stranger things have happened. And what's interesting is this news keeps coming out that somebody else is going to come in for him. And this leads very nicely into the Kane news. So we know that, we know that Harry Kane has said what he said about KDB. Does that make it a shoo-in that he's going to be going to Manchester City? No. I bet if you ask every single striker in the world who their favorite playmaker, who a player they want to play with, a lot of them are going to say KDB because he's a creator and they want to have chances created for them. Would he want to go City? Of course he would. If they offer the right deal, will he go there? Probably. Doesn't mean it's a done deal for Manchester City. They've made no attempt to try and sign him. But one of the reports today from ESPN that Chelsea were going to offer Tammy and Kepa plus cash for Harry Kane also included Callum Hudson-Odoi. And if Callum Hudson-Odoi was to join and Tammy Abraham were to join Tottenham, I'm just putting this out there as a deal, that could potentially open up the space in the squad for Chelsea to go out for Jadon Sancho. They can afford it. We know how much money they've got, but most people in the industry still see Manchester City as the favourites to sign Harry Kane. So that's a little bit of an overview for you in a little bit more detail than what the intro did. Remember, Neeks, Igal, and LFC Sunny are going to be with us from around 5:30. So over the next 15 minutes or so, we're going to take your live calls for you to have your say. Please get your super chats in as well. Any questions that you have for me, any questions that you have for the board. What you're saying, my guy Jem back from his holiday says Hudson-Odoi needs to go. He ain't progressing at Chelsea. Chelsea fans, what do you make of Jem's comment there? Do you agree? Is it the right thing to do to get rid of Callum Hudson-Odoi? Let us know your thoughts and your feelings. Brewster is better than Church, and that's an insult. Listen, Brewster's still a young man that might progress, but come on, he ain't quite there. He ain't chose a level above him still. I think. Sato says, Terry, I've seen Kane in every shirt on this channel so far. You will. And of course, we make the thumbnails as attractive as possible to attract people's attention and to get them to view and watch our videos. But of course, we don't make the news up. I'm not the one who's put the link out today saying that Harry Kane is favourites to join City. I'm also not the person that has said that Chelsea are lining up a bid that includes 3 players plus cash to sign him. That's not on me. We're here to give you the chance to speak. Someone said to me earlier, I might as well just read the gossip column on the BBC. That's cool. But do you get the chance to phone the BBC gossip column? Do you get the chance to interact with other football fans and give your views and opinions? No. If you don't like the football terrace, go suck a big toe, bruv. Simple and as straightforward as that. Terry, why can't 100 million Sancho take a corner? Why can't why one of the greatest footballers of all time in Cristiano Ronaldo seldom on corners? Bro, I love you, Twisted, but you ask some of the strangest questions I've ever seen in my life. Right, let's go to some of your calls now. I want to get some of you on the air to have your say. First up on the show, I'm going to get Henry Wright on the show. Big Spurs fan. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, outside of Spurs, life's pretty good. Being a Spurs fan at the moment, it is a struggle. It is, I'll be honest, mate, it is absolutely terrible what's going on right now. The club is an absolute mess. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I do appreciate that, and the chat is absolutely popping off. But yeah, what question to everyone in the chat actually, and question to you: do you honestly think Kane's going to leave?
Honestly,
when you look at who we've got as a negotiator and when the money he wants and other players out there, the likes of Haaland, potentially Mbappe, Jadon Sancho, is anyone going to pay 150 million for Harry Kane at 28 in July?
I don't think anybody's going to pay 150 million for him, but I still think he'll go for less than that. And the reason and it depends who comes in. The reason I say that is Harry Kane threw out a very important financial fact in his interview with Gary Neville yesterday, that his valuation will diminish over the course of the next few years. And as a Spurs fan, I would be angry with Levy for cutting off your noses to spite your face by keeping him if you don't get 150 million for him. Because Levy might say, well, listen, we're going to make you see out your contract. You can leave for 3 of charge in 3 years' time. But Spurs are never going to put their hands in their pocket deep enough to replenish your squad. You all know that. You all moan about not spending. So the way you're going to do that is by raising those funds. There's an opportunity here. If we look at the Man United and Chelsea offers, maybe you'll get something similar from Man City, who I still think are the most desirable club for Harry Kane to go to. If they come in and say there's 80 mil plus you can have, and from Man United's point of view, it was plus you can have Jesse Lingard and Anthony Martial. I think that could be something that tempts Daniel Levy into action. This Chelsea one's a little harder because of the local rivalry, but if you got 100, one of the rumors yesterday was you're going to offer the 150. I think it can be done. It's going to be a tough one. I think it depends on the other deals that are circulating and what other players go for. In terms of yourself, whether you see it happening or not, do you agree with Harry Kane wanting to leave Tottenham?
Absolutely. I said yesterday on my stream, forget Harry Kane. The club hasn't replaced Jan Vertonghen, Moussa Dembele, Kyle Walker, Christian Eriksen. If Harry Kane leaves and he goes Manchester United or Man City, Manchester City needs a long-term replacement for Aguero, and you are pretty much very likely to get instant success when you look at the players they've got, Sterling, De Bruyne, etc., etc. If he goes to Manchester United, we have quite a good relationship with them. We sell Berbatov, Carrick, Sheringham, We have quite a good relationship when they come calling. And when they do come calling, it is very, very rare that you turn it down. Manchester United are one of the biggest clubs in the world. The situation I have with Levy is he has 3 years left on his contract. So Tottenham have got all the cards held to their chest. They have all the power. He has no buyout clause. His brother is his agent. Charlie Kane 66, I think, is his agent name. He last week was actually in Manchester, which a lot of people don't know about. So he's already, before this already blew up, before he handed his request in, he already knew straight away that the 2 clubs that wanted to get him were Man City and Man United. He won't join Chelsea, personally, I don't think, because it will be an uproar. It will be bigger than when Sol Campbell joined Arsenal. It would be, you'd have fans protesting. You'd have Daniel Levy that want his head on an axe. I personally think he will go, if he does go, it will be to Manchester City. They need, Aguero's just agreed to join Barcelona. That takes him off the wage bill. They need fresh players in there. You've got De Bruyne and Kane. I mean, that'd be absolutely ridiculous. If they just won the league without a striker, You take him top 2 strikers in the world. In my opinion, he is the best. You know, there's a lot of debate between Kane and Lewandowski. Can Lewandowski do these sort of numbers in a mediocre Spurs team that's underperforming, had 2 different managers, average players across the park? Could Lewandowski do that? I don't think he could.
He certainly wouldn't create the volume of chances that Harry Kane does. That's one thing that Harry Kane is an underrated footballer, as opposed to, we know he's a world-class finisher, but he's underrated footballer. There's no doubt. I agree with you to almost. I still think the Chelsea deal could happen. And I say that because I think loyalty in football is overrated in the sense of everybody's loyal until they have an opportunity not to be, if that makes sense. And I feel like in his heart of hearts right now, if Harry Kane was to come out, and he wouldn't ever do this, but say I know there's only 3 clubs that can afford me. I think what number 1 choice is City, number 2 is United, number 3 is Chelsea. That Chelsea being 3rd is purely based on his loyalty for Tottenham. But it all depends on the interest that other clubs show in him, because as we know, most deals actually only take about 24 hours to get done once clubs officially start talking. So much of the preliminaries are done, like you just said, like the agents. We know that the agent has spoke to Manchester United. It's fairly well recorded. A lot of it gets done via intermediaries and via agents before the clubs actually sit down. If City don't show enough attention, enough love, and they don't offer him a good enough package, you may start to see his eyes drift elsewhere. That's where I think a Chelsea could maybe get themselves involved in this heavily by saying, well, actually, look, we're willing to make the bid. We're willing to give you all the money you want, give you the starting berth that you need. We saw it happen with Man United when we signed Lukaku in front of Chelsea. Chelsea were leading the race, and then they basically ignored him for 2 or 3 weeks, and we were the ones that showed him love, and he changed his mind. Probably regrets that now, but at the time, that's what really helped. So this Harry Kane saga is going to be
it's going to be ongoing for weeks. Just quickly, the situation that Harry Kane's in at the moment is very similar to when Man United bought Van Persie. You know, carried his team. Let's be honest, they wasn't up there with Man United. They had a lot of average players. He carried them. Van Persie did, and they got to the point where, you know, fair enough, he won a couple of FA Cups, but he wanted that league title. Yeah, just what Kane wants. He left for Manchester United, won the league title the next year and the next year, and he got I think he got top goal scorer that season. Harry Kane at the moment is in the exact same position. He won success. He's going to be 28 and he hasn't won a single trophy. For a player of that ability, you know, a world-class talent, it's not right, and it wouldn't be fair to keep him. For Daniel Levy to go, look, you're not going. It's not only doesn't how bad does that look as a football club? Yes, we want to keep our prize asset. There is a lot of players out there. We could bring in 2 or 3 players. You know, Danny Ings we could get on a free transfer. I'm not saying he's anywhere near the level of Harry Kane, but he brings in goals. Go out there and buy Jack Grealish straight away. He brings in the creativity, and then you've got potentially 50 million for another striker. You may bring in Calvert-Lewin, or you may bring in Ivan Toney. There is ways to get around it, but and that's the academy. It's going to be a for the back.
I do agree, and that's where I think what Spurs fans have got to implore from Daniel Levy and the board is that they don't get personal with this, and they think about the betterment of the football club. What could we do with the Harry Kane money? Yeah. Who are we being offered in exchange? You know, you look at the Chelsea deal that they're offering. Maybe not the Kepa element. Maybe you think, why would I want Kepa? But Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham could be that backup striker, and say 60, 70, 80 million pounds. You look at that and go, well, Hudson-Odoi walks into your team on that right-hand side. You've been weak on that right-hand side of attack for a while. Tammy Abraham's a good backup striker. Maybe he can do, maybe would have that bit between his teeth and want to actually deliver at another level. Or you use that money and you say, right, we're going to go out actually. Maybe you use that money to improve your defense and go, actually, we'll get Danny Ings on a free. Tammy is the backup, Hudson-Odoi on the right. And then you go and sign, you know, Pau Torres at the back, or you go and sort out that area, and you actually then have a stronger squad as Tottenham that you're able to progress with more next year under a manager. And I've got to go to other calls in a minute, Henry, but I wanted to ask you, Nuno has officially agreed to leave Wolves at the end of the season. Any kind of word on the street from the Spurs point of view that he could be your next manager? Would you like?
So the Football London, Alistair Gold, who's a representative for Spurs, has come out and said that he left due to personal terms. It was nothing to do with the club. In my personal opinion, that will be a step backwards. You know, yes, he done very well at Wolves. He got into the Europa League quarterfinal, was it? And Man United knocked him out, or semi-final. He plays terrorist football, the same as Mourinho. It's 30% possession, try and counter attack. We need a manager who had Pochettino's identity, could play what they call champagne football and dominate a game. You know, Pochettino is actually being eyed up to replace Ryan Mason. There's so many links, and that's the thing. Be prepared. Any Spurs fan or football fan, your Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube is going to be absolutely obliterated of Harry Kane news. So just any Spurs fan, just strap yourself in because it's going to be a bumpy couple of weeks. It is going to be carnage.
It is. It will be like that up until the Euros, and then it will die down again, and then it's going to be boom. But I've got to admit, I'm a transfer. I'm at a point where if I'm going to rate it a scale of 1, football's 10 out of 10 for me. It's my favorite pastime. Transfer news is like a 9.5. I love it. What I love saying, I was talking to my team at Snack earlier today. We're planning out some really big stuff for the channel. And I was saying how in every other element of football, speculation is accepted, if buts and maybes. When it comes to transfers, everybody gets like road rage. You know, like
everyone,
they say,
everyone's got a source. Everyone becomes a manager.
And it's amazing. But we've got some great stuff coming in that space as well. So keep your eyes peeled. Listen, Henry, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really do appreciate that. Top man. Thank you. Trying to get Henry on for a few days. We're going to delay the debate by about 5 minutes. We're going to jump through some more calls quickly because I do want to hear from some of you about these stories that we're discussing on here today. Hit that like button. Hit the share button as well. Right now, share this on your social media streams. Get your friends, get your family, get your football Twitter spheres and everything else all involved. But next up, we're going to get Dale on the line here. Dale, welcome to the terrace. What do you want to say, mate?
Not a lot, really. Well, a lot, but yeah. Arsenal fan.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I like your setup, by the way. So that's cool, bro. That's a nice little setup there, mate.
Gaming streamer, so yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, what do you want to say about Arsenal, mate? Big move on the cards here with Buendia.
You don't know, do you, what he's done in the Premier League? He'd done a bit last time he was there with Norwich, created a few chances, but obviously didn't put them away. See what he can do with, well, I say better players, but we're pretty shocking right now. So you never know. But I just want Arsenal fans to get off their high horses, to be honest with you. Like, turning their nose up at certain players all the time. I can remember when we were linked with Johnny Evans a few years ago, and it's like, oh no, we can't get Johnny Evans, he's rubbish, blah, blah. At the time, we needed a Johnny Evans. We need a Johnny Evans now with David Luiz leaving. We got young centre-backs. To be honest with you, it's just that sort of stuff. Like, I think we need to go back to the roots of when we used to sign players that were sort of unknowns and try and like low risk, high reward type signings.
Yeah.
But we don't, I don't know. The amount of Arsenal fans that are like, I spoke to a couple of my mates today, were fans, and they were saying, oh yeah, I don't want Buendia. I think we can do better than Buendia. And it's like, but can we though? Have you seen the mess we're in? Like, you need to sort of look at it. 40 million, maybe a bit much. Try and get him down a bit. If we can get him for sort of 30, 35, I think is a good signing. He looks like he's only going to get better from what I've seen of him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, listen, I agree with you about the people getting off their high horses. Buendia, he's an improvement. And without being disrespectful to Arsenal, you've fallen from grace massively. You've become in the last few years a mid-table level team. A lot of the big names that you all want, of course, I understand why you want Grealish, but
not going to have no chance. Absolutely no chance.
There's too many. You know, it's a little bit like, I mean, you know, you've been to a bar, a bar or a club where the bar is packed and it's like 5 people deep, and everyone in front of you plays professional rugby, and you're like 5'2" and weigh about 4 stone. That's you trying to sift through the big teams, looking at someone like a Jack Grealish. I think you're better off signing very good footballers, slightly a level below that, building your squad out, improving as a club, and then going back for those players. It's going to be a slower process, but I think a more sensible one, in my opinion.
100%. That's it there. That is literally it.
Absolutely. Dal, thanks for calling in, mate. Definitely call in again, pal. Speak to you again soon. Top man. Next on the show, we're going to go to Daniel, another gooner here. Welcome back to the terrace, mate. What do you want to say? Hello.
Hello, Toad. Can you hear me?
Hello, Danny boy. What are you saying, mate?
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, bro. I don't want Buendia, mate. I'm going to be honest with you. I hear what the last caller was saying about we need to lower our standards, and I agree. All this Arsenal fans going, Jack Grealish. No chance, mate. No chance. Like, do you really think Kroenke is going to spend 85 million, firstly? Secondly, do you think it's going to be a step down in his career going to Arsenal? But the reason I don't want Buendia, because last season when he was in the Premier League, I didn't didn't think it was enough. He was that great, to be honest. I don't think he's an improvement on Smith Rowe. I think Smith Rowe's a better player. I think Smith Rowe's much younger. He's an Arsenal boy through and through. The player that I want in that attacking role position, and I think it's a good shout and a realistic target, is Costas Pereira from West Bromwich Albion. He's just been relegated. He's probably going to be 10 to 15 million pounds. He scored 12 goals this season from that position, which is more than Jack Grealish. I'm not saying Grealish is the better player, but it's not all about the fancy names. He's done it for a team that's been relegated and supposedly played Brexit football. So I think Costas Pereira would be a good shout for that attacking role position. Having Costas Pereira and Smith Rowe, I think is good depth for that position, in my personal opinion. He's better than Buendia. And I'm not. If we're getting Buendia, I wouldn't pay no more than 15 million for him. The fee that I'm hearing, 40 million, no chance. 40 million I want to spend on Basuma. I want 40 million on Basuma, 10 to 15 million on Costas Pereira. That's a good buy of two players that we need.
There we go. There we go. Listen, viewers.
Costas Pereira. You think he's a good shout?
He's not better than. I don't know much about him. Who's he play for?
West Brom. He scored 12
goals.
Sorry.
That Pereira. I think Buendia is better.
Really? He scored one goal.
Is his name not Mateus?
Mateus Pereira. I don't know. His name's Pereira, but he scored 12 goals. I probably.
I was about to say. I swear it's not Costas. I thought it was Mateus Pereira at West Brom. That's why I was confused.
I think I probably said his name wrong, but it's Pereira. He plays in that attacking role. West Brom.
So you want Pereira because you think he's better than Buendia, but you don't even know his name.
Yeah, well, I've not been paying much. I know his name's Pereira, but I know he plays. I know he's played for West Brom. I don't pay attention to West Brom. I'd rather sign him. Yeah, apologies, I got my name wrong. It can cost me all the people. It
just made me laugh, bro. Listen, thanks for calling in and having your say. We'll speak to you again soon, Danny. Thanks. Take care, bro. Thank you very, very much indeed. I was like, is he trying to catch me out here with a play? That's why if I don't recognize the name, I'll be like, I don't know who you mean. And then when he said West Brom, I was like, right, I swear his name meant Costa or Costas or anything along those lines. I think Buendia is better than that Pereira. Anyway, we're going to do one more call before we bring the panel on to debate who we think are going to be the 5 biggest transfers this summer. So stay with the terrace. We'll do more calls after that. We really, really will. But I need you to hit that like button for me right now as well, please. We're getting Tom Little on the show here. What are you saying, Tommy boy?
I don't know why Arsenal fans are trying to turn down Buendia and Pereira. That's what you need. You need to rebuild. You just need a different identity now. This is, you're no longer at that stage where you were buying the big name players to push on from top 4. You need a new identity again now. You need to change it up. Pereira, great player. He's not going to cost 15 million. He'll cost more like 25. But Buendia, I don't get how you can turn him down. He created the 3rd most chances in his one season in the Premier League. He was only behind KDB and Trent. That's ridiculous. That's in a relegated team. That's crazy. Arsenal need to focus on getting these cheaper players because you might hit a couple duds, but you'll hit a couple that really do work. And even if you sell them on later on for more money, you can then use that money to bring in better players. It's just the stage Arsenal are in now.
I completely and utterly agree. Listen, Tom, thanks for calling in, mate, this afternoon, having your say. Really appreciate that, bro. Thank you. And viewers, remember that we will be building up tomorrow for the final day of the season. Sunday, of course, we'll be going live straight after the games end. We're doing a big season review show in the evening as well. Next week, along with, of course, bringing you transfer news and the build-ups to the 2 major European finals, we're going to be doing a series of shows that touch on signings of the season, flops of the year, amongst the manager of the year, amongst other elements as well. Lots of tiering shows for you all. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We're going to bring Sonny, Igal, and Neeks on now to have their say in relation to what we think are going to be the biggest 5 transfers of the summer. So stay with us. A bit of a recap about what we've spoken about on tonight's show as well. We'll see you in 2. Arsenal are preparing a mega bid for Buendia following a lengthy pursuit of the Norwich star. After a standout season in the Championship, Mikel Arteta has identified Buendia as one of the key playmakers to bring the Gunners back to life. Manchester United still remain heavily interested in the signature of Raphael Varane from Real Madrid. He is seen as the #1 target to bolster Manchester United's defence. Nuno Espirito Santo has agreed to leave after 4 years at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Portuguese manager and the owners of Wolves have come to a mutual agreement to end his tenure at the end of this season. But where will Nuno go? Could he be the next Spurs manager? Reports this afternoon from the Daily Mirror have suggested that Chelsea Football Club are ready to submit an £80 million bid to land Jadon Sancho ahead of Manchester United, who are currently seen as the favourites for the Englishman's signature. And ESPN are reporting today that Chelsea Football Club are willing to offer Tammy Abraham and Kepa to Tottenham plus cash in exchange for Harry Kane. All of this when it is mooted in the industry that Harry Kane would prefer a move to Manchester City. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Here we go. How are we? Are we all good?
I'm all right.
Good. Yeah, transfer window is here. Transfer window is here for us now, which is it's going to be interesting. And I thought it'd be a real. We know there's some big stories already: Jadon Sancho, Harry Kane, Lukaku, Mbappe, Buendia. Like some huge deals that are already being kind of discussed and debated. And I wanted to get your views on what we think are going to be the biggest 5 transfers of the summer. And we can just jump straight into it. I'm going to go to Sun in this one first of all. Give me some of the names that you think. We're going to kind of flesh these out and we'll kind of rank them as a panel. What do you think is going to, in your opinion, is going to be the biggest deal that happens this summer?
The biggest deal that happens? Just one?
Yeah, just for now, the biggest transfer.
Okay. I think Mbappe will go to Real Madrid.
Wow, that's massive.
It is massive. That's what I don't think he wants to be at PSG. And if a player like Mbappe doesn't want to be at the club he's at, he's leaving. Come on now.
A big one. That's a big one. I mean, how much we talking?
Oh, it'd be a lot of money. It'd be a lot of money.
How much? First things first. How many years does he have left in his contract at PSG?
1.
I think he has one. Yeah, one.
1 year left. Okay, surely we can't be talking about 200 million after.
No, it won't be 200 mil.
So
it wouldn't be far off 200 mil though.
No. Let's be realistic. If you have 1 year left, the negotiation power is in Mbappe's team and his people. So if he wants to leave, same thing with Harry Kane. The price will go down. If he says anything about actually not looking to re-sign a contract, now PSG are going to have to start looking for suitors that are going to want to buy him.
You're underestimating Mbappe though, saying that he'd be nowhere near 200 mil. I still think even with 1 year he'll be near 200 mil.
Linked to Liverpool?
No. I don't even care about the links to Liverpool because I remember who our owners are. I'd love him, but it's on our side. It's like a pretty goals interested, but we don't like goals. It's like that's what it's like. So we won't get him, but I think the only other club we could is Real Madrid. So
I think with 1 year left on his contract, the quality player that he is, I'm thinking I'll say probably about 130.
We're not talking about a transfer record breaker.
No, but we know it's 200 million. 200 million is the record. That's Neymar. They're not going to do that. But I think
Neymar's a company, man.
I think a deal similar to what Hazard went to Real Madrid. So I think they had an initial fee of about maybe 90 with all the payments, add-ons, etc., raising it to about 130. I think you could see something similar to that with Mbappe, because if I'm correct, how many years did Hazard have left in his contract? Wasn't it 1 year? And he went for that amount. So I think we could see something around that amount.
And Mbappe is better than Hazard, so
I agree.
What about the Euros? That might affect it.
It's going to be after the Euros. That's what it said.
A whole summer of speculation. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, look, I think when it comes down to it, like I want to make sure I phrase it in the right way. The 1 year left on his contract is the biggest issue here. That is the biggest issue that's going on, because at the end of the day, in a year's time, he's worth nothing. I'm getting a bit of playback from some. I'm not too sure where that's coming from.
It's not me because I just muted myself.
I think it might be me because I can't hear it.
Okay, well, we'll see. It might work itself out. I think what's really interesting is the fact that in a year's time, he's worth nothing. Now, we spoke about Harry Kane earlier on in the show and how, and we'll get to him, he's going to be one of the top ones later. Are Spurs going to cut their nose off to spite their face by not, this whole, let him rot in the stands? That doesn't actually help you as a club. It creates animosity. It creates division within the dressing room, and you don't ever get as much money again in the future. You look at the Danny Rose situation. That messed both Danny Rose and Tottenham up. They could have got a lot of money for him 3 or 4 years ago, and instead, yeah, his career fizzled out, and they didn't get any money for him. It was just a stupid scenario they got themselves into. This would be bigger. Real Madrid can come in for him. I think the issue that you've got is there's uncertainty around their management at the minute. Liverpool are definitely in for Mbappe as well. There is no doubt about that, in my opinion. He has stated that he'd be interested as well. But it's certainly going to be Mbappe. I think Mbappe's transfer, wherever he goes, is going to be big. So we'll put that one on the list right now. Igal, outside of Mbappe's deals, what's another huge transfer that you think is going to happen this summer? You're on mute, brother.
I've spoken about this numerous times, and I'm not gonna get on to Spurs fans, but I think Harry Kane is probably going to be the biggest transfer this year. We know about Sancho, we know about Haaland, we know about all these other guys, but if Harry Kane is actually pushing for a move and the contract that he currently has in the Premier League, we're already seeing Chelsea lining up, Man City lining up, Man United lining up, and I don't even know if there's anybody outside of the Premier League lining up for him, but he's going to look for in and amongst 150 to between 120 to 150. That's what I'm assuming, and maybe even more than that if you don't put enough like add-ons or anything else on the deal. They might be looking for more from that. So I'm not sure, but I think Harry Kane could be the biggest deal, and we're already starting to see that he's the biggest whale out of everybody right now being spoken about at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge one, isn't it, boys? It's a gargantuan one.
Yeah. I think England captain, he is set. If he continues at this rate, he's set to be the leading Premier League goal scorer. He's set to be the England's highest ever goal scorer, and of course, the move that he makes could be the one that he's actually going to go and win some trophies. I think wherever he goes, especially if he moves to an English club, which I'm 99.9% sure he would at this stage, is going to be the biggest transfer. Whatever happens elsewhere in England, I think that's going to be the biggest transfer because of the profile of Harry Kane. We can debate whether we think this person's better, that person's better, this one's got more longevity, etc., talent. He is the face of English football right now. So wherever he goes, I think that's where it's like when Rooney moved. When Rooney moved to Manchester United, that was huge, especially it was just after the Euro 2004. And he had a big impact at that Euros. That was a massive statement. I think wherever he goes, that's going to be the headline of the summer, especially in the Premier League.
Yeah, it'll be if he moves, it's the biggest Premier League transfer. Unless Mbappe joins Liverpool, it certainly is. Igal, you said that he's going to leave.
Yeah.
The stories about where Harry Kane's going keep chopping, keep changing. And when I say chopping and changing, with the bookies, nothing has changed in the last 48 hours. It's Man United and Man City like this. It keeps up and down a little bit, and Chelsea a second/third favourites if you look at the top to his joint. But where do you think he's going to go? He spoke about City today through a KDB link. Man United have offered him a mammoth £80 million contract, and Chelsea have seemingly made more of an effort to say, we'll pay you the cash or we'll give you cash plus players. Where do you see Harry Kane going if he indeed leaves Tottenham this summer?
Okay, so Harry Kane has this thing where Spurs haven't been able to get over the hump. And if he cares so much about his legacy and putting medals on the table and all those other things, he's going to go to Manchester City. There's been rumors, as you guys already know, him speaking about Kevin De Bruyne being one of his favorite players to play, that he would want to play with. And of course, anyone would want to play with Kevin De Bruyne if you're an attacker, and he's going to create so many chances for you. If he went to Manchester United, that's not a guaranteed title, in my opinion, for him. If he went to Chelsea, that's not a guaranteed Champions League or title, even though Chelsea are favorites to win the league next season, and they're favorites to win the Champions League because only two people can win it, Man City or them right now. So if it was up to me, and I was Harry Kane, I personally would try to push him towards going to Man City and not make the same mistake that somebody else has made in the past, such as Alexis Sanchez going to Manchester United and ruining his legacy in the Premier League by taking that step and it not working, and eventually him leaving to Italy. And I don't think Harry Kane's ever going to get to a point where he leaves the Premier League, but he cannot make the wrong move. If he makes the wrong move, everybody's coming for him.
No, but he's too good for the wrong move. Like, Sanchez wasn't too good.
No,
like, Sanchez was on the drop-off when he went to United.
You messed up my punchline. What's wrong with you, man? You can't take the Spurs.
Oh, all right, go on. What's your punchline? Go on.
You could take the Spurs out of the. You could take the guy out of Spurs, but you can't take the Spurs out of the guy. You know what I mean? Or something like that. That's how the line goes.
So you can take the Spurs out of the guy. Of course you can.
No, you can't, man.
Can I just say? I think, listen, call me biased, innit? But if Harry Kane moves to Man City, I don't respect that. Like he's not here for my respect. Don't get me wrong. He doesn't have a clue who I am. He doesn't care what I think. But I'm gonna give my opinion on it anyway. I don't respect that. It's like Pochettino going to PSG to win trophies. They'll win it without you.
But what? Isn't that what football's about?
No. But I'm saying no. You're effectively stat padded.
So do you respect Van Persie?
Van Persie, we weren't the champions when Van Persie won us back.
No, but it's a player's dream to stat pad. It's a player's dream to win trophies.
I'm not blaming Harry Kane. Is not here for my respect. I'm just giving my opinion. If he goes to Man City, unless he scores in the Champions League final to win them a Champions League, they've done it all before without you. As a matter of fact, if they win the Champions League this year, what is he going there to do?
But he's stayed at Spurs.
You know what? You know why Neeks is right in terms of legacy here as opposed to winning trophies, because Harry Kane spoke a lot about legacy. One of the reasons why so many of the Man United players from the 90s and noughties, the Giggses, the Scholes, are underplayed is because there are so many of them in one good team at the same time. There wasn't a standout individual. Cantona was when he first arrived, because we weren't title winners when he came. We hadn't done it, and he took us to that next level. Over a period of, say, 10, 15 years, it was our Giggs was amazing, Scholes was amazing, Beckham was amazing, and all these other players. There was no standout because everyone was great. The point's being made there about Harry Kane. If he goes there, he'll win trophies, there's no doubt, especially with Poch. But will he get, how many people, look at City. Look at the way David Silva and Aguero, and to a degree even Yaya Toure, are overlooked when people speak about greatest players in the Premier League. Because
you can't look at it like that, though, because when we say that Harry Kane is going to go to City and go do the whole thing, what's he done at Spurs for the last how many years? He's tried to stay there, tried to win them things. Yeah.
So Sonny, let's tell him that. I understand why he would move there. Yeah. He probably feels, I've scored 200 goals in my career. I haven't won anything. I deserve a trophy. I deserve to go to the best club in the country and win the trophy, and no one can tell me anything. I understand why he says that. But from the outside looking in, for me, it's an easy move that doesn't enhance his legacy. Him winning a Premier League with Man City doesn't enhance his legacy. It doesn't prove to me that you can win your team a trophy, because they were winning it without you. If you go to Man United, you go to Liverpool, you go to Chelsea, and you win them back the Premier League, whether it be next year or the year after, for me, that is enhancing you. That's showing that, Spurs were the problem, not you.
There's one thing you're missing, though.
Sorry, Gal, I'll come to you in a second ago. What that does, though, is one of the things I've said about people say about, is Guardiola better than Fergie? The one thing Fergie's done, he's actually done it twice to epic proportions, is taken over either sleeping giants and turned them from being crap to being brilliant, or taken over unfavored teams that are not meant to be winning and made them win. That goes the same for players. If you join a team that's already the best and you help keep them at the top, of course you win trophies and of course you get recognized for it. But if Harry Kane went to Chelsea and scored the goals to make him win 3 league titles on the bounce, I think he'd have a greater legacy than if he did that.
But why? What? Because like fans or something?
Well, no, not to do with fans, but because it's something that, City just won 3 league titles in 4 years. So if he goes there and does that and is a lead scorer, it's been done before.
No, but that's my point. Like, what's the point in that? He's tried to stay at Spurs and do that and carry a team who's not good enough. All he'd be doing is going to another team that's slightly better and still not be able to carry to do that. You're forgetting as well, Man City are the next big thing. Like, if you're saying in terms of history, he goes to City. Harry Kane's like, 27? He's got years left in him to become that next big thing.
Yeah.
What
I was going to
Netflix
say
is?
one thing, Neeks. What destroys your argument is if he's able to accomplish something that goes down in Premier League history, like if they go on and win a quadruple, or they
Well, yeah,
get
okay,
or
fair
they
enough.
get an actual treble, or he gets a Ballon d'Or, being in a team that scores a lot of goals. He comes in and scores even more goals,
But-
and
but,
they
yeah,
break records.
I don't
If
disagree.
that happens, there's no debating at that point. I can't even come on here and have any.
Yeah,
Harry Kane agenda or
I don't
anything like that.
disagree because remember the point that I made was that unless I said the example I gave was if he scores in the final of the Champions League and wins them that. So yes, if he does something outside of what they've done already, so winning a Ballon d'Or, winning a treble, winning a quadruple, winning 4 Premier Leagues in a row, something like that, I can say
He
fair
kind of
enough.
already done that, just apart from the trophies bit. Like he's became everything he can possibly do at Spurs in terms of stats,
No.
apart from win the trophy.
No, but let's not forget right now.
Him going to Man City, scoring 20 goals and winning the league doesn't tell me he's a better striker then than he is now, because he was scoring 20 goals already and they were winning the league already. What have you done?
Don't mix up my point with him being a better player. I'm just saying.
Now, let me ask you a question. Sorry, let me ask you a question here. If he goes to Man City and Man City stay on this trail now, say he goes there and wins 5 Premier Leagues, a Champions League, 3 or 4 FA Cups, doubles, and breaks the Premier League goal scoring record, he'll have to be considered the greatest ever striker in the Premier League, right?
Listen, he could be considered the greatest ever Premier League in the.
He will be, right? He would be.
Public opinion, he can be considered that, but everyone will have their own favorite choice. Everyone will have an opinion. We'll have a discussion about it.
You would all agree on here. If you become the record leading goal scorer in the league and win multiple trophies, you have to be considered the best, right?
You can be considered the best, but in my opinion, records are meant to be broken. The record should not be what makes him the best. It should be what he actually wins.
So if I go and break Usain Bolt's 100-meter record now, that makes me the greatest sprinter ever.
Okay, but that's not. You're drawing a comparison to goal scoring and an Olympic athlete.
Yes.
It's 2 different things.
No,
what I'm saying is, if he was able to break Alan Shearer's record, but he didn't have all the other accolades that you named, we could have a debate, and there'd be a debate. But if he does go on and get all those trophies,
if he has more goals and more goals per game ratio than Thierry Henry and Shearer, who are rated as the best 2, and he wins more league titles than them both,
then there's no debate.
Okay, that's what I was pointing out, and he could do that at Cities. If I was you, I'd want him to go somewhere maybe wouldn't make it. But
this is where I go back to the first point that Neeks was making, Terry. Just to end it here, if he does go on to win trophies, that supersedes anything of anybody saying he made the wrong move. I don't care if he goes to Man City. I don't care if he goes to Chelsea. I don't care if he goes to Manchester United. Wherever he goes, he needs to win a major honor, which is Champions League or the league. Then no matter what, no one can say he made the wrong move.
Fair enough. Next, so we've got Harry Kane's transfer. Most of us are saying City are the favourites. Mbappe to Real Madrid's the second highest. What's the third biggest transfer we think, or another one that we'll rank them a little bit later maybe? What's the next big one? I'm going to go to Neeks for this.
I think it has to be Jadon Sancho to Man United. I think any transfer that involves Man United is automatically top 2, top 3 in any one window. Let's be honest, be real. It is. One way or another, we make it about us. Whether good or bad, we make it about us. It's just unfortunate that the Glazers are our owners, because in reality, we should have Sancho already, and we should be leading the race, clear, for Harry Kane. And I think if we had Sancho already, I would be so confident of getting Harry Kane above Man City. But we don't. We have the Glazers owners, and that's the situation we're in. We're unlikely to be able to spend a load of money on both of them, unfortunately. So Jadon Sancho is the main target, and I don't have an issue with him being the main target. I think he's without a doubt a generational talent, without a doubt. At his age, what he's already done at a top 5 league in Europe, in European competition as well, in terms of Champions League, the combinations that and the partnerships he's developed with class players such as Haaland, I expect him to come into the Premier League, hopefully at Man United or wherever he does end up, but hopefully at Manchester United, and hit the ground running, really and truly. I don't expect any big bedding in process, anything like that. I think he's going to be playing with players he's played with at international level. And I think he is one of the players, not the only, but one of the players who can take Man United up to the next level, the level that we're trying to reach again.
Yeah, I just want to appreciate Sonny disappeared.
Yeah, he disappeared. It reminded me of the Wizard of Oz. Do you know what I mean? When the wizard appears from the curtain, just there. Like, I agree. Like the Sancho deal is going to be gargantuan. He's going to. The thing is, Sancho's moving this summer. It's a fact. Whether it's Man United or not is irrelevant for a moment. He is going to move. Dortmund have said it. He has said it. I'm really convinced that it's going to be Manchester United as it stands right now. I don't think we're going to mess this up 2 summers running. Although I know people are nervous about it. I'm fairly confident in relation to it. It's going to be huge. And that's the thing. If we sign him, it's massive. If it's hijacked by Liverpool or hijacked by Chelsea, the Jadon Sancho transfer becomes even bigger. So either way around, I think it's going to be one of the biggest. There's no doubt about that.
I just think I would be very, very surprised, knowing who our owners are, that we leave this transfer window without a marquee signing. With everything that they've put us through, forget the last 15 years, just think about the last few months. With everything that 15 weeks, what they've put us through, I think they will be intent in leaving this market with a marquee signing, just to make it seem like, guys, we are here to support Man United and invest in our future, blah, blah, blah. So whether that's Sancho or someone else, but Sancho's the priority. He knows we want him. I think we can do that.
Let me give you an interesting take on Sancho. I feel like you said it, Terry. He passes the eye test and the stats. But somehow, if he goes to Manchester United, somebody will find a way to critique him or over criticize him. I feel like we should just enjoy these players. Even if it goes to a rival, I'm not going to come on here and make fun of him. Just like people who make fun of Mo Salah for having moments that affects the team or brings down the attack. He's a great goal scorer. And if Sancho comes in and does the same thing for Manchester United, fair play to you guys, because you guys got one of the best young players in the world.
I think as football, I've come to this realization in recent weeks now that we have just got to accept that the way certain fans have agendas towards particular players exists. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to continue to persist in that exact same way moving forward. So there will be people that from day one, Eye Test, who comes on this show, is a great example. He doesn't like Sancho, and he will be looking every single week for something Sancho isn't good at. We've seen it with Bruno Fernandes all season. Gives the ball away too much. This, that, the other. You always see these things manifest themselves, and happen. Martial's had it since day one. Pogba's had it from just giving Man United examples. Rashford gets it. The only criticism on me and Neeks know this he ever got for 2 or 3 years. When is he going to score over 20 goals in all competition this season? Starts doing it 2 years running. Yeah, but decision making and what about creativity? One of the most creative inside forwards in European football. Yeah, but what about, it doesn't matter what Rashford does, the goalposts get moved. So it's one of those, it's a bit like Ollie Outers. I've actually now muted the vast majority on socials, not because I dislike them, but it's the same. I literally was waking up every morning. It was the same argument. It was the same tweet. Every press conference, same tweet. Every starting lineup, same tweet. Every good, bad, or indifferent performance or result, same tweet. Same about Rashford, same about Pogba, same about Martial. It's like you're all milked it, man. It's like if you're squeezing that cow's udder now, no more milk. It's dust coming out. Like it's over and over. And they'll do the same to Jadon Sancho. And they'll do this. Boy, if Haaland joins someone, there'll be a group of people that do it to him. It's just here to stay. And it's fun. I find it fun in the first few weeks. And then it just becomes boring. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I know you're not happy. It's got a hat-trick. Yeah, but it's not the best hat-trick I've ever seen before. Do you know what I mean? It just is what it is. I think we've got to accept these people. FIFA is to move the World Cup to every 2 years. I haven't read that. I don't really
That's
know.
crazy.
That'd be mad. Terry, do you think Sancho would want to come to Man United after we drained him last summer and depressed him? Look, I don't think the players see it in the same. I think when you read the reports from Germany, I think Jadon was a little more frustrated with Dortmund than he was Manchester United. Plus, I don't think players don't hold on to grudges in that same way like we do as fans. They don't look at football how we do, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. A couple of quick ones. Do any of us think Lionel Messi is going to move this summer?
No, I said it from last summer. I said he's going to sign a new contract. I don't know when, but he's going to sign it. I can't actually envision Messi in any other kit. Like other than the Argentina one, it just doesn't make sense. You know, so I look at Harry Kane, I can see him in other kits. I look at a Jadon Sancho, I look at an Mbappe, I look at Messi, and all I see is Barcelona. I think it was a power play. The president at the time, I can't remember his name now, he's gone. Laporta is back in, who has a great relationship with. They've just taken out another loan, which they're going to use to pay the player wages, 500 million a year, 100 million to pay player wages, and the rest to invest into the squad. I think Messi's going to sign a new deal.
He will go. He'll go. I'll tell you why. Because PSG, who would be literally one of the only candidates to even get him, will get rid of Mbappe. When they can afford to keep Mbappe, they have the money to go and get Messi. They will go and get Messi.
No, that's not happening. You want to know why? Because when Bartomeu signed, Messi was one of the people voting for Bartomeu. Messi would not vote for somebody who he won't stay for. And also, I feel like he wants to be one of those guys, legacy-wise. He wants to be a one-team man. He wants to do that stuff. And if you're talking about PSG, you know what? We're going to get there because I think PSG are going to line up moves for other people. One being...
So what are you saying? It's just the president then? Like what? The only reason he wanted to go? Because remember, if the one club... Yeah. Argument can't really work when he wanted to leave last year.
No, but I don't think he did want to leave. I think it was a power play, and I think it was the case of Messi knows. I respect Barcelona, but at this current juncture of their history, Messi is bigger than Barcelona. Messi could not afford to lose. Barcelona could not afford to lose Messi. So if Messi says, "If this president gets re-elected, I'm leaving," they're making sure that president don't get re-elected.
Yeah,
and Messi knows that.
110%. You brought up a great point there. One of the big clubs linked with Messi was Paris Saint-Germain. They're also linked with a move for Cristiano Ronaldo. Do you all see him leaving Juve this year?
110%. If they're in the Europa League, there's no way he's going to be listening to that Europa League team.
Okay, what if they're not in Europa League? What if they're not in Europa League?
If they're not in Europa League, he'll stay. But if they are in Europa League, it's done. It's official. He's out the door.
I get a feeling. I think I've got a feeling he might. You know what? I'm going to sound controversial, but I don't care. The French league's easier than Serie A from top to bottom. Of course, there's some good teams in the French league, but I think he could look at it and go, right, I'm 36, coming 37. Could I get to 100 goals for Paris Saint-Germain? Saying to see, he could do it.
No, he couldn't. No, he couldn't. No, he couldn't.
He could, man.
Why?
No, he couldn't. No way is he gonna get to 100 goals for a PSG when we've seen him. When we've seen the end of his Juventus career, no way is that.
He's the top goal scorer in Serie A. Goals. He's the top goal scorer in Serie A.
Yeah, the second half of this season.
Who's third? Isn't it Zlatan?
I don't know. But Zlatan got injured. He was high at one point, then he got injured. Ronaldo is the highest
league's quicker than Serie A. Even though the French league is worse, it's still quicker than Serie A.
But the gap between PSG and the rest of the league is bigger than the gap between Juventus and the rest of the league. So even if it's quicker.
Sorry. He scored 36 goals this season in all comp. He scored 37 last year. He scored 28 in his first. So he's actually got better since his first season.
Statistically,
statistically, but we're talking about statistics and goals.
Yeah, then there's no context.
What context are you looking for?
If we're looking at him as a man who's playing football towards the end of this season, he has not been a good footballer. I'll tell you that now. He's not been a good footballer.
Where did I make that point?
You didn't make that point. That's my point.
We're talking about scoring goals. He's still talking about goals.
I still think if he keeps himself fit and there's no major injury, I think he can get another 3 years out of his body because he's insanely fit. I think if he goes there and plays for 3 years and doesn't miss any large chunks of seasons, which he's never done in his career, it could be the fourth club in a fourth different country that he scored over 100 goals for. I think those little things are a big motivator now. Cristiano Ronaldo has won everything he needs to win at club level. I think now it's about him breaking personal records. He wants to obviously score. If he scores 6 more international goals, he's the highest goal scoring, international goal scorer ever in football. You know, he's already the highest goal scorer in European football ever. If he goes on to a Paris Saint-Germain and bangs in another 100, no one's ever gone to 4 different major clubs in Europe. And
Sonny, just as a note, he's got 9 goals in Syria. He's got 9 goals in his last 11 games and 4 in his last 4. But I'm not talking about the player, whether he can still do skills, whether he can still get past a man. He hasn't lost his eye for goal.
Can I make my perfect point then? My perfect point. PSG are not a team. You're telling me Neymar and Ronaldo in the same team where they don't work as a team is going to end well. That is not going to end well in any.
Who's their striker right now?
That's the only thing that I would slightly agree with you with, in the sense that I don't know if you can have two personalities who are very egotistical, who want to be the main man. I don't know if you can have both of them in the same team. And for Neymar, Neymar is PSG's team, or PSG's name. Yeah, he wouldn't want a Ronaldo to take the shine away from him. But if we're just talking about Ronaldo as his ability to score goals, I think he's more than good enough to score 100 goals for PSG.
Guys, let's not forget Cristiano Ronaldo. I would say is somebody who come in. All he cares about is being part of winning teams, scoring goals, and making himself as much money as possible as a brand and as an individual. If he goes to PSG as a brand and as an individual, it will put him in a better situation than staying at Juventus. No matter what, if he's going to move from Juventus, the only logical place he could go is PSG. Right. And next after that, if you're talking about where he's going to play, currently PSG have who? Icardi, and they have Moise Kean as their strikers. You're telling me they wouldn't do some sort of swap deal for Icardi to Juventus? If Juventus only can get rid of him to PSG, they would do something.
This isn't career mode. It's just there's so many things in it rather than just a swap deal. Like, come on now.
No, I get that. But when I hear stuff like his personnel and his team have said to him that if Juventus are in the Europa League, he will have to make a move no matter what. There's going to be a move on the cards. And you know what? I want to see Juventus in the Europa League, because I've been telling you guys all year, the Europa League is the new Champions League.
What I would say, can I just say quickly? Wait, guy, you're not even in that. You're not even in
that's
that.
right.
The conference will be the new Champions League next year.
Nah, especially if Liverpool's in it too. It's going to be funny.
They won't be. But I do think if Juve end up in Europa, I think Ronaldo will leave. But I actually don't think they're going to end up in Europa. I think that final day of the season, I think AC Milan are playing away to Atalanta. I think AC Milan's gonna drop points in that game. So I think Ronaldo will still be at Juve next year.
Interesting points on that. So we've kind of put that in as one. We've got three. There's a few more I want to throw out here. We mentioned Harry Kane, mentioned Sancho. There's two other big potential Haaland would be massive if it happens, but I'm just trying to get the feeling it isn't going to happen.
I'll tell you why it could happen, though. Imagine Chelsea getting motivated by City getting Kane, because those are the two main rivals right now, if we're being realistic. If City go and get Kane, Chelsea will have to get Haaland to compete.
Chelsea are going to get Lukaku, let's be real.
I mean, that was about to be my next suggestion, because I was about to say Haaland may not move. How big a transfer is Lukaku back to Chelsea, in your opinions?
Massive. The man just won.
It's not massive.
The man just won the league over there in Italy. We already know what kind of goal scorer he is, and all Chelsea need is someone to put in the back of the net. He's a clinical finisher. His touches and everything else, maybe he's not the best in build-up play and everything else. He couldn't play well at Manchester United, but what Chelsea need, they just need someone to get at the end of those chances. They have so many creators around him. He would be the perfect piece to the puzzle. I know if Haaland was there, he's younger. He's also a good piece also, but Lukaku fits perfect. And also he does have a connection to Chelsea. He did come from there. So we'll see. But it's
massive in terms of that, but as a transfer, I don't think it is. Like as a transfer,
it's a match made in heaven, because they also need seniors and more leadership in the team. They're gonna let go of Giroud. They might let go of Tammy. They need these guys in the team.
Is Lukaku a leader? Hang on,
Lukaku is a leader. As much as you want to make him, I would look at him as a leader.
I don't.
It's a tough one, because I think Inter have failed in Europe since Lukaku's been there, but of course he's gone over there and won Serie A. I think there's two things he wants to prove. I think he's going to want to be successful in Europe with Inter. It doesn't mean necessarily winning the Champions League, but bloody getting out your group as a first. Like, they haven't even done that. And of course they lost the Europa League final last year. I think on top of that, I think he does have something to prove, or he will feel he has something to prove in the Premier League, because he did at Everton and West Brom, and he said, all right, I'm ready for the big step up to Manchester United, and it didn't work out. Whether he blames himself, whether he blames the manager, whether he blames the fans, whatever it might be, it didn't work out. I think the fact that he went to Chelsea, remember, he was from Chelsea where he started his Premier League career, and he didn't get a look in. He got loaned out. He missed a penalty in the Super Cup, then got sold. I think if the opportunity came back at this stage of his career, he's 28 years old, whether this year or next year, to say you can go back to Chelsea where it started in the Premier League and prove that you can cut it at the Premier League level, at a big club, I think he's got the I think he's got the confidence to say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I can do this. If the deal is right, the money for Inter, the wages, I would not be surprised if he went back to Chelsea.
He hates United fans
but
too.
only Chelsea. Say that again?
He hates United fans.
Yeah.
Honestly, all the time I
So
hear
he
him
would
speak,
love
it's
to go
about
to
the
Chelsea.
United fans.
He would love to go to Chelsea, dominate, win the Premier League, and say, "Look, it weren't me. It was Man United. Nothing to do with me." I think he could do that.
He's the most disrespected goal scorer in the Premier League over the past couple of seasons. As much as look at how much everyone rates all these other goal scorers. I think he's the youngest player to get to 100 goals in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And Chelsea fans, don't mix up the Lukaku that you let leave at a young age to the Lukaku that you have that is currently playing. The Lukaku that we have now in front of us is a leader, a man who in the World Cup almost won a Golden Boot without I don't think he scored much penalties in that game in that World Cup. And overall, as a player, to what you guys need, you don't need somebody who's going to take intricate touches and build up play. What you need is someone to be at the end of those chances. And Lukaku, I would say that's his strength.
Well, let's be honest, Gal. It's not like Timo Werner's got the touch of an angel. Like
they could play together though.
Timo Werner is not a good footballer. He has a job, and he does part of it well, and the other part he does poorly. I think in terms of scoring goals, Lukaku, yeah, if you could choose between Haaland and Lukaku, of course you go for Haaland. Yeah, but if you don't get Haaland, Lukaku, no, I'm saying Lukaku improves Chelsea to another level. So I don't think they should turn the nose up.
I think what's interesting about Lukaku is Chelsea have certainly made inroads into a deal with him, been reported by a number of people now. However, I think it's contingency work. So I think Kane and Haaland are looked at as priorities. In fact, they've also made inquiries into Lewandowski. Chelsea want to sign a proper goal scorer this year. When you look at the other number 9s they've been linked with, Lukaku just isn't as good as any of them, in my opinion, but he's still very, very good. So I think Chelsea only end up with Lukaku if categorically Kane and Tottenham say it's never, ever happening. And if the Haaland deal can't happen, I don't think Chelsea can afford to go through next season without a prolific number 9. So I don't think they can afford to wait. Tuchel definitely can't wait a year not to win a league. We know what Chelsea are like. He can't wait a year for Haaland to maybe happen next year at all. They have made some inquiries into Lewandowski, which would be a big move. But I do think Lukaku would be a big transfer. There's a few more I want to throw out here.
Can I just stop it right there, Terry? Lukaku at 60 million and Harry Kane at 100 million plus. Lukaku at 60 million makes more sense for Chelsea Football Club. Anyone who tells me that otherwise,
disagree. Because at half the price or at double the price, Harry Kane is double the footballer. He is.
Yeah. Harry Kane is a better technical football player than
much
Lukaku,
better.
hands down.
Financially, it makes more sense for Chelsea Football Club to get
No, but I don't think it does. I don't think it does because financially,
I don't care about.
No, but but financially, I don't think it does because Harry Kane. For me, if Harry Kane goes to City, as this is obviously an assumption, they win the league. But if Lukaku goes to Chelsea and Harry Kane ends up at Man City, you're still in the same position, chasing Man City for the league title.
Yeah.
I think
looking at it as a power play.
I think the gap is that big.
Even if City don't get anyone and Chelsea get Lukaku, I still think there's quite a big gap.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. There's a super chat here that says Lukaku never won a golden boot. Owen youngest to 50 is what Harry has said there. D1 says, I missed your super chat, D1. I swear I didn't. I apologize. I'll go and look for it in from a different area and I'll say it out loud. Sorry, D1. I didn't mean to miss that. Look, I just think there's a difference. I think Lukaku's a good player. There's no doubt. Is he at the level of Harry Kane or Lewandowski? No. D1 says Sancho joins, but Pogba leaves. Do you know what's interesting about you bringing that up? Why I'm interested in you bringing it up. It was about to be one of my next conversations was going to be Jack Grealish could be a big transfer this summer if it happens, but for some reason, it just doesn't feel like there's nothing credible in Sancho in Jack Grealish leaving as an example. There's a Rafael Varane deal. I don't know how gargantuan that is in terms of top 5, but Paul Pogba leaving Man United, if that happens, it's got to be one of the biggest deals of the summer because of who he is, the size of the player, his connection to Man United. Do any of you see him leaving Old Trafford this summer?
Nope.
Paul Pogba?
Yeah.
No, no. And it's a strange one because I'm not even confident we're going to sign him on a new contract. So then that means he's available for free. Like, I actually don't know what's going to happen with Pogba. The news has been very quiet. We haven't heard anything.
Speaking of deals, just very quickly, Fabrizio has tweeted Aguero to Barcelona. Here we go. A deal until 2023. Barca. One second, mate. Barca also getting closer to signing Memphis Depay. He has confirmed to his new lawyers that he wants to join Barcelona. So that's two interesting pieces of business for Barcelona. It really is. Remember, Chelsea also, this is how you know how desperate Chelsea are for a new striker. They also made inquiries into Aguero. It was only a few days ago. It was down their pecking order, but it was still a player that the club were linked to and that was on their kind of go out and to get list. But what do you guys make of that? I mean, Memphis and Aguero.
Aguero's not a good deal. Aguero's not a good deal. He's not that player anymore. They've just got rid of Suarez for saying he's not good enough. And now they're getting Aguero. What's behind it?
Well, again, it's the president. It was the other president that did a fire sale of all those players. And Messi's like, what the F is going on?
Yeah, but still, Aguero's not good enough.
No. Let's be honest though. Aguero's coming in there to be a bit part player. He's not coming in there to be the main man. So we don't know how he's going to be as a third or fourth option. He's not going to be asked to play as many games. The main part of this deal that you guys are overlooking is Memphis Depay for what is it, 13 million, or is it free?
I think it's a free transfer.
Free transfer.
I think it
free
might
transfer. Memphis Depay, a guy who a couple of years ago people were looking at for how much, and now he's going on a free transfer from Lyon. That's a good deal. This is great value for money. They're not spending any money on transfers. They're just going to give them wages. And for a team that was currently going through a lot of financial difficulties, let's be real, in their current situation, I know this is not the Barcelona of old, but this is a good deal for Barcelona, and we cannot overlook that.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's interesting. Mbappe and Memphis have used the French league very smartly. They signed their deals 4 years and 3 years ago, respectively. But they haven't stupidly, when they were doing doing very well after 18 months, signed their new big bumper contract. Looking at Bruno Fernandes recently, and I feel like in 18 months, if we're not challenging for titles, he'll want to leave because he wants to win, right? They say we don't improve as a club. The worst thing you can do right now is sign a new 3-year extension, giving him like a 5-6 year deal at stupid money, because it makes it hard for him to leave. And I think players are going to look at Harry Kane's situation. I think they're going to look at players like him and go, actually, is it worth signing these super long, very expensive contracts? Yes, it earns me a lot of money in the short term, but we all know how life works. Your mind changes, doesn't it? What I want and want to be around me today might change in 6 months' time. And if you're tied in and can't get out, it's difficult. And, free of charge, 27 years of age, looking at him, Memphis, still got a long, there's still a way to go in his career, like his peak age. I think that could be some good business. I think we'll really see, though, because a lot of people said he's improved since leaving Man United, but everybody always says it's Ligue 1. Let's see what he can go and do.
Sorry, go on, read that.
Sorry, it says here, Aguero is better than Firmino. Stop disrespecting him, is what Centurions said. Yeah.
I mean, well done. Firmino scored like one home goal in a year.
That's true. That's true. Firmino is not a striker. He's a DM. We know.
Stop it. He's not a great player. We know that.
In terms of the whole contracts thing, because I'm trying to think, Igal, when it comes to NBA, what's the maximum length of contract you tend to get with like the star players these days?
Honestly, it ranges. I think James Harden was given a 4-year deal of like
at the Nets.
How much it was, but that's like it's usually 4 to 3 year deals. But now LeBron James, what he does as the greatest player, he takes 2-year deals. So every 2 years, he has all the power to negotiate with the team to do what they want him to do. And I think footballers might start doing that. You're right.
Yeah, that's what Terry was kind of touching on, because, and I think it's a tough one as an athlete, because you're thinking, I could get injured at any point. I need the security of having this contract. But it's also, you weigh that off with, well, I have confidence in my ability that within 2 years, I'll still be at the top of my game and I'll be able to negotiate a big deal. You look at in The Last Dance, and you have someone like Scottie Pippen, who was on a 6 or 7 year deal on pittance because he signed it at the beginning, but by the end he was like the second best player in the league. But it's like, well, you signed it, nothing you can do now. We're not gonna change it. So
Absolutely,
it's a toss up they have to decide on.
Absolutely, and I think as well, when you're one of these elite end players, social media is such an important thing now. It's so lucrative. Kylian Mbappe is a prime example. 51 million followers. He has 20 million more followers on his social, or just on Instagram, than Liverpool Football Club have. So from a social media perspective, Mbappe is bigger than Liverpool, which means he's more marketable than Liverpool. So you haven't got to worry about, you're always going to make money. He's already a multi-millionaire. So it's like he doesn't now need to sign stupidly long deals. If I was Mbappe, I would want a 3-year deal with a mutual 1-year extension. That's what I honestly would be telling my agents, go out and secure me that deal. Even if I'm earning 50 grand, 100 grand a week less than they would offer me for a 6-year deal, do that for me. We'll work out a way commercially to make that money back. We'll make loads of money. But what it means is in 3 years' time, if I've had enough of Liverpool or of Real Madrid or wherever I go, I can just move. Or they can offer me a shitload of money to stay, and all that money I missed out on, I'll get then. Like, I think there are ways that you can do it, but you can free yourselves up a little bit more. And it certainly makes the transfer windows more exciting.
Can I say why you're wrong?
Why am I wrong?
Well, you said Mbappe bigger than Liverpool social media. Liverpool and Nike at the same time. Like, Nike is Liverpool. So he's not.
Okay, so you're saying Nike's bigger than Mbappe. And that's why Liverpool are bigger than Nike. Nike.
Well, no. Liverpool are bigger than Mbappe anyway. But in terms of social media, Nike is Liverpool. Liverpool is Nike. No,
what he's saying is their social media imprint is bigger than Mbappe's social media imprint is bigger than Liverpool's social media imprint. That's what
I know. And my point is Nike is Liverpool. Liverpool's Nike.
What are you talking about?
Social media. Liverpool is literally sponsored by Nike.
Okay,
Nike,
bro. When I say Nike, I don't talk
Liverpool. Get out 1 sec. But so's Mbappe.
He is, but a club is much bigger than a player in terms of that sponsorship.
Why are you getting necky about this, Sonny?
What are you talking about?
I'm simply talking. Sonny, stop. I'm simply stating, right, that he has 20 million more followers than Liverpool. So Liverpool's own reach is to a certain amount. Now, if Nike, that you can't retweet, but if Nike share a Liverpool post, of course it gets that extra traction. But if a Nike share an Mbappe post, which they do, it gets that same traction. There is no difference.
It's debatable. I'm saying when he said Mbappe's bigger than Liverpool, you said Mbappe's bigger than Liverpool's social media. Nike are much more involved with Liverpool than they are with Mbappe. That's my point.
Oh my God! Stop. Nike are involved with every single sponsor, not just Liverpool.
Of course they are, but my point is they're more involved with Liverpool than they are with Mbappe.
Mbappe, doesn't he have a deal with Nike? What are you talking about?
He does. Yeah, he's involved with them, but not as much as Liverpool.
We're gonna name these now. We're gonna call them Sonnyisms. We've had another Sonnyism. I don't know what to say, bro. I don't know what to say to you.
2 in a row now.
You're taking it as an insult. It really isn't. It's just a fact.
No, that was an insult, Terry. Don't even. That was an insult. I knew what you're trying to do with that. Mbappe's bigger than Liverpool.
No. He's bigger than nearly every single football club social media following. That isn't the point I'm making. I was talking about the fact that players don't need to commit to these gargantuan deals anymore, because there are multiple other avenues to generate money from. Someone like Mbappe with 51 million Instagram followers, I don't quite know how much exactly he would charge, but it'll cost you between £500,000 to £1 million per Instagram post because of how big he is. The point I'm making is that he can make his money elsewhere, so he doesn't need to tie himself to a 6-7 year deal. I don't really understand why that's an insult to Liverpool Football Club when I'm stating a fact that he has more followers than you.
But I stated facts at the same time.
Okay.
You can't prove to me. I mean, I've just actually looked on Nike's Instagram page. I can see one Mbappe post. There's actually one of Raheem Sterling, Tammy Abraham, and Rashford football-wise. There's one of Van Dijk. The Van Dijk one, done very, very well. Likewise, outside of that, it's multiple sports, bro. I see athletes. I see basketball players. I've seen 2 of Rashford. I haven't actually seen one yet of Mbappe, to be fair with you. But I've seen not one post on there about Liverpool per se.
No, but that's my point. Is you're saying equal, say, Instagram followers? That doesn't make you bigger than whoever else we're comparing it to social media. Even though you might have more Instagram followers, that doesn't make you bigger,
bro. On Instagram, it does.
On Instagram, it does, yeah, but that's
On
just
that's
mad.
what my point. That's on social media.
No, but when you say bigger, like bigger is such a you can't use the word bigger in terms of more following from a player to a club, because a club is so big. It's going to get out to everyone, even on social media, whether they have less followers.
Why doesn't it have more? If it's big, no, Mbappe, it's fact, he's bigger. Who's the bigger YouTube channel, me or the United Stand? Can I be bigger than them, even though they've got more followers than me?
No, but that's completely different, because that's like say the United Stand are, I don't even know how to use this as a comparison. Say their little lemonade stand and you're Asda selling lemonade as an official shop. That's what that's like, because Liverpool are an actual club. Whatever they put out, that's going to everyone because it's official.
Use that as an example then. Let's use it as an example then. I sell lemon. I'm Asda and I sell lemonade. And we don't use the United Stand for that example. You sell lemonade on the street. I'm bigger than you, yes?
Yeah, no, you're bigger. Yes, that's my point. You're Liverpool. I'm Mbappe. Okay, I might get more biased for some reason.
Yes. But if you've got 5 million Instagram followers and I have 2 million, I'm a bigger company than you, but you've got a bigger social media reach than me, haven't you?
Yeah, but that's not my point.
I said. That was the point. That is the point.
No, but you didn't say that. You said that Mbappe is bigger than Liverpool.
No, but that's what he meant.
I said on social, you're gone, bro.
He was specifically talking about social media marketing. He was specifically talking about social media marketing.
Since we're on Liverpool, let me say this. I think there is a way where Mo Salah could be a big move to PSG.
Yeah, definitely could be.
If
we don't get the Champions League, I think it will, because Salah's been celebrating these goals so much. It's starting to get me concerned if we don't finish in the top 4.
He's supposed to celebrate the goal.
No. Salah's never celebrated a goal in his life like he celebrated that last-minute winner against West Brom. I've never seen him so happy, and he didn't even score the goal.
Listen, oh my God, Safe came on here and said he celebrated more than the Champions League final. So of course,
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. I've never seen Salah smile and shout so much in his life.
But listen,
with him saying it's Champions League or not.
If you don't get Champions League,
every game.
If you don't get Champions League, I think Salah could leave. Salah right now is I think Salah's too big to play Europa League football at this stage of his career. I think he's 28, 29 years old. His reach across the world, the fact that he's Egyptian, he's an Egyptian god. You know, man like Wind Dragon of Ra and Obelisk of Torment and them things there. Like, he is actually an Egyptian god. So I think he could get any move that he wants if Liverpool don't get Champions League football. He's not playing Europa League. No, he's not doing that.
He's not. I see him. One of him or Mane is going to go. There's just no real sign of who it's going to be yet. But there we go. They're the biggest 5 that we've listed today, ladies and gentlemen. Mbappe's transfer, wherever it is he goes, Real Madrid or Liverpool. Harry Kane's proposed big money move. Sancho's move to Man United. You've then got the Lukaku move, potentially back to Chelsea. And then, was that all of them? Is that 5? Did I count 5? Was that 4? 1, 2,
Did you say Kane?
Yes, and then we spoke about Ronaldo potentially leaving as well. I'm sure the 5 biggest may change over time, because there could be some breaking news in an hour and then the whole world gets blown upside down, as we saw with Harry Kane this week. There's a comment here that says that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang may leave and may have a reunition with Tuchel. Oh, can you imagine how? Let me ask you that question, Gal.
Yeah.
How sad would you be if Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, your best striker since Thierry Henry, joined Chelsea?
How much money are we getting?
Not a lot.
If we're getting like even 35 million, I'll take it. And I'll just be like, I would take it, and I would invest that money back into getting a Jack Grealish, play him on the left wing, bye-bye Aubameyang.
Stop it with Jack
Grealish.
If they give me 35 million and they say, yo, Aubameyang will leave today to go to Chelsea for 35 million, I will take that. And if it means we reinvest the money and get Jack Grealish to replace him as a captain.
Buendia.
Grealish needs to want to go to Arsenal.
Listen, no. My point is, if you're gonna get rid of Ozil and Aubameyang, and you have no talisman in your team, as a club, you need a guy who sells shirts. And if Arsenal are serious and they let Aubameyang go and they bring in Jack Grealish, we're better for that, realistically, in the long run.
Sorry, can I just ask a question? Because do you not rate Aubameyang that much right now that you're willing for him to go for 35 million?
No, I rate Aubameyang. I rate Aubameyang, but I'm looking at the future of the club. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang right now, he's on the large amount of wages, and he does not look as motivated as he did before he got his contract, obviously, for multiple reasons. He's had a tough season, and I can see him getting better and possibly doing better next season, but at the end of the day, he's not going to be here for the next 5 years. He's going to be here until his contract runs out, and he's going to move on for free. So if we can sell him for 35 million today to a Chelsea or even somebody else across world football, I'll take it, and I'll reinvest that money into a talisman like Jack Grealish.
Well, of course you take it. It's just whether it'd happen, and it wouldn't happen.
No, but I was asked the question. I answered it.
It wasn't realistic, but yeah.
There we go. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in this evening. We're back later on tonight with more content for you. Make sure you've subscribed, turn on bell notifications, hit the like button, share it on your social media platforms. Until next time, take care. Goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all again